Welcome back to your challenge. Yesterday we were seeing the basics of going up the wall and down the wall and holding it there for a few seconds. And we have to talk about your priorities when it comes to practicing chest to wall. First thing first, as we have seen earlier, you can practice your handstand freestanding, obviously, back to the wall and chest to the wall. And if you are time constrained, you do want to practice more chest to the wall than back to the wall because there's fewer mistakes you can make there than the other way around. Eventually, of course, you want to have a practice where you merge them all, including the freestanding part, even if you're not comfortable yet holding a handstand there. Now, what we will see when it comes to all the chest to the wall drills is that beyond the number of seconds you can stay up there and beyond the distance between your hands and the wall, you do have to mind what you're doing up there. The position that you have. Chest to the wall is very much so, even more so than back to the wall, about alignment, the alignment piece of the puzzle. And that's why what you do chest to the wall ends up feeding into what you practice back to the wall. And that's why after having spent a few days working on your kick-up efficiency and realizing that your alignment is an element of that, we are now going to talk about alignments, and this is best done chest to the wall. Like we did for your kick-ups and like we did for your back to the wall practice, you have, at least in the method we teach, to drop any preconceived ideas you may have about what you should do up there in terms of bringing too much attention on the details which might not even be relevant to you, because we have different bodies, different experiences, different needs, different strengths. Handstands actually end up being a very individual endeavor. And so when it comes to being upside down chest to the wall, you're much better off making it about one and one thing only, and that's being light against the wall for reasons we will elaborate just now, rather than pointing your toes, flexing your knee, extending your knees, tilting your pelvis this way, that way, arching, not arching, flattening, ribs in, shoulders up, shoulders down, elbows bent, elbows straight, hands wide apart, hands narrow, gaze in, head out. All those are options that actually are available to you, that you can actually hold a handstand in. And so only bringing your attention on those will not give you the recipe for handstands, but bringing your attention on whether or not you can be light against the wall, well, that is the thing you want to take off the challenge. The same way back to the wall, it was one thing to be able to reach the wall. And again, if you're not able yet to reach the wall, trust me, working on the alignment will allow you to get there. But once we can get there, we have to ask ourselves, how do we get there in the first place? How is this ever gonna become something that I can rely on freestanding? And if I am going through the wall as I kick up against the wall, it's never gonna yield anything freestanding. Well, similarly, if my feet are very heavy against the wall when I hold myself, even if I'm doing everything right, if I'm doing all the shoulds I have been told, you will never get anything freestanding. So just to show you a few examples. If I go upside down here and I have my pelvis out and my lower back arching, I can take off the wall. I can flex my feet and still take off the wall. I can relax my knees and still take off the wall. I can have one leg straight, one leg bent and still take off the wall. I can actually bend both elbows and still take off the wall. I can have the head in and still take off the wall. I can be in a banana and take off the wall. I can be in a planche and take off the wall. So all those combinations are possible. I'm not saying you should master them all right now. Quite the opposite. You want to be efficient in the way you train. I'm saying discarding some of those for the sake of prioritizing others do not make sense unless you figure out what your alignment is. And yes, that's the point of what I teach, including in the Rocket course, which I mentioned in the last Q&A, and in which we will see all the pieces of the puzzle of handstands in much more details, starting with figuring out what works for you. So in saying all that, your homework today is 1, to recall which of the 4 alignments that we've assessed back to the wall helped you the best. Complete beginners, which of those allowed you to get the closest to the wall? Beginners, which of those allowed you to get the more consistently against the wall? Improvers, which of those allowed you to get the softest against the wall, or even to start floating before you didn't against the wall, or even allowed you to perform better freestanding attempts? One of those 4, which are not the only ones we can explore, but for the sake of simplicity in this challenge, we start with those 4, is going to be better than the others. And so we're gonna try, now that we know how to climb up and down the wall, we're gonna try to go in that position and start the timer only when we have reached that position. So again, you have feet together, wide V, small V, butt out. For argument's sake, let's say that the butt out position is the one that helped me the most. Well, what you are supposed to be doing for this homework is climb up the wall, then go in the position, and now start the timer. Complete beginners, you want to hold anything between 5 to 10 seconds. Beginners, anything between 10 to 20 seconds. Improvers, 20 to 40 seconds. And if you're beyond that, then awesome. You leave some energy to come back down softly. And you're done. Now I want you to compare what you felt doing that, if you were at all able to do it to the extent you want, versus what you felt the first time when you just held yourself against the wall. And in you feeling what happens when you go into the desired position lies the key to a good practice chest to the wall.